My name is Ambika, and I'm based here in the Bay Area in California. I recently organized a service project, a side project, and it was an international hackathon to build software solutions for COVID-19. And it was supposed to be something small, but it became something large, and more than 100 students expressed their interest for this hackathon, and about 51 finished. So that's the international hackathon we organized, and it was a lot of fun. Hackathon, in my terminology, at least in my reference, is an event where you come together for a very short period of time and you try to build a software. So hackathon means building software quickly. It was the first hackathon I organized. I have participated in 2 hackathons in the past, but it was the first hackathon I organized. And my motivation was, where COVID happened very quickly, very swiftly around the world, and it's a common denominator that everyone is impacted in some way or the other, some more, some less. And I was looking to increase my circle of influence in the sense that I wanted to help people outside my immediate circle. And I decided that I will do a hackathon where we help students. We help students build a software solution, so that will improve their chances of getting an interview and eventually a job. And then hopefully we also build solutions that might actually solve a real problem. So the motivation was, how do we help more people than the people we currently know? And we decided to do a hackathon for that. So the one that I organized, that was in June. It ran from June 12th to June 14th, exactly 48 hours. Students got 48 hours to code. And the way we did, and the entire event took only 21 days from the moment I came up with the idea until the project was even finished. So 21 days from inception to completion. And it was just my desire to wanting to help out, doing more than just helping people I know. One thing led to another. Lots of conversations with Raya, actually. And I decided to take action and say, okay, I'll do this. And I put a post on LinkedIn, and I created an application for students using Google Forms, and I posted it on LinkedIn, and it blew up. So I was hoping maybe 20 students would apply, and more than 100 applied. And I was hoping that I could get some mentors for these students, so industry professionals in the tech industries who might be available to help students during that weekend if they ran into a technical problem, because I'm not a coder. So I cannot tell you why your code is not working. So I decided to also create another Google form saying I'm looking for mentors. And I was hoping that 10 to 15 mentors would come. We actually ended up getting 40 mentors from various tech companies such as Google, Akamai, etc. So that one was students. We got lots of students just from a LinkedIn post. Second was mentor. Lots of mentors came through personal connections. And third were companies. How can I actually get these students to get interviews? And so for that, I reached out to some people. One thing led to another, and we got 3 companies who said that they would interview top performing students from this hackathon. So that's sort of how we did in the past. Took 21 days. We just threw this energy out in the universe, and amazing happened. So we thought, why not do it again? But this is, again, only a project that we do in the evenings and on the weekends. We all have our full-time jobs, people who are involved with this. And we're planning to do it at the end of this year. Actually, we're in between. We're either going to do it in October, or we're going to do it at the end of the semester. And this is going to be another international hackathon. And we're aiming to have about 500 students. We have a website. The website is ambitiously.io. If you go on there, you can, look at the website, what resources we have, and what we're trying to do. Last time, we asked students to build whatever they wanted, but it has to be COVID related. This time, we want students to build specifically for nonprofits. So you're building a technical solution to help that nonprofit. So we're changing the scope in terms of what you will be building, but the idea is the same. Yes, actually, we're currently interviewing and discussing a few nonprofits. We have selected a few countries we want to target. We want to target students from, we want to target companies in who would interview those students in those jurisdictions. And we also want to target nonprofits in those countries. So then students are building for regional nonprofits. For example, there's Smithsonian. It's, they have amazing museums, it's in Washington, D.C. But for a student, let's say in South Africa, they might not know what Smithsonian is. So it doesn't make sense for students in South Africa to be building for Smithsonian. It might be better to have a regional nonprofit that students in South Africa might want to build for. So specific to regions. In the previous category or previous hackathon, which happened in June, we had 4 categories. One was healthcare. So we asked students to build any healthcare solutions related to COVID-19. Second was education, anything related to ed tech or even remote software, which we all need right now. And third was helping small businesses. And fourth was anything of their own desire. It could be mental health, etc. Those were the 4 topics. Yeah, so that's actually came from one of our learnings from the past one. I'm so proud of the students and how much they accomplished in just 48 hours. Some really good solutions came out. However, now that competition is over and they won their prizes, they didn't take it forward. It's just sitting there because they got busy with their interviews and their internships. So I thought, why not actually have that very focused energy toward a nonprofit that can actually take it forward? So that's where the inspiration of building for nonprofits happened. So we had about 108 students, so 100 plus students who were accepted to apply for the hackathon. And students came from countries such as the United States, Canada, Mexico, UK, Australia, and India. And then of the 108 students we accepted, it was 50-50 in terms of gender, women to men. And in terms of graduate to undergraduate population, it was 40% graduate students. So, because it was open to any student, whether you are undergraduate, doing your master's or PhD or in community college, it was open. As long as you're a student, we welcomed you, or even current student, recently graduated. In terms of students who finished, 51 students finished. In terms of those, we had about 2/3, which were women, and 1/3, which were men. So more women actually finished. And then in terms of graduate to undergraduate, that was relatively the same. 40% were graduate students, 60% only undergraduate. And we had students who completed from 4 countries, India, the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So those were the 4 countries. And within this United States, we had students from 8 different states. When I list all these locations, what I actually mean is students enrolled in universities in those locations. So within the US, we had students enrolled in 8 different states. And overall, in terms of time zones, we had 8 different time zones represented. Right, so we have a website called ambitiously.io. And on there, you can go and express your interest. We will be adding more to that. We're going to be adding a component called community, in which once a week we'll have somebody from the tech industry do a talk, and we're going to be launching that very soon, and we're going to have like ask me anything type of sessions. So we will have a community aspect and we'll have a hackathon aspect, but the whole website is for student engagement specifically for hackathons. Yeah, the goal is to incentivize, performance in a very short period of time. So then hopefully the companies will also see how students performed, and then hopefully they will be interviewing you. So I have a question for your interns. Have you guys ever participated in hackathons?
No.
Okay.
Never.
Maybe I should explain what is it like. Maybe that would help you visualize a little bit more. It might be a more abstract idea.
Kevin, by the way, says he's interested in his.
Oh, great. Right. I just saw. I am interested. Yeah. Okay. So hackathon is, for me, it was 48 hours, the one I organized. Most tech companies have hackathons where they want people, like employees, to come up with solutions to, let's say, company specific problem. So I use that same concept. I've participated in a couple of them for my companies. And it's so amazing because for those 2 days or for that week, you don't do any work. You do what you want to do. And then you get to present it to the senior executives and you tell them you should be doing X and we can make Y money. And they love it, right? So now you're like pitching. It's like Shark Tank. So you have 48 hours to build something. When I say build means you have to code and your code has to be working. So it cannot just, your code, if your code doesn't work, then you didn't finish. So you have to find a problem, you have to identify a problem, you have to propose a solution, and then you have to build a solution and you have to pitch it like Shark Tank to the senior executives. And they will ask you, they will question you, why do you think this way? Why do you think that way? And then you win, just like Shark Tank. They will decide whether to invest in you or not. So yeah, I think Shark Tank is the best way to explain a hackathon.
I know that, as I said, Kevin he's interested in computer science. And Ryan, what are you interested in? What do you think you'll be studying?
Not really sure. Maybe like business or something.
So with our hackathons, we give them exactly 48 hours. So the clock starts at midnight, and then 48 hours later, the clock will end at midnight, and that's it. So it's pretty intense. When we did this hackathon in June, the teams didn't know each other. They came from all over, and we gave them a few hours to get to know each other and decide what topic to do and who to work with. So they had, we created like Zoom sessions like this so then they can get to know each other and pitch like, hey, this is my idea, who wants to work with me? So we used, our communication tool was Slack, and we created like a pitching room in Slack, and students could write, they could post, this is my idea, I'm looking for developers, or I'm looking for, let's say, front-end developer, back-end developer, I'm looking for product manager. So they could ask, it's like posting a job. So they could do their job posting and say specifically what roles they're looking for. Or if I don't know what I want, I don't have an idea, I'm looking for a team to join, I can just say, these are my skills, I'm looking to join, and you are, let's talk. And then they could ping each other, they could call on Google Hangouts, whatever. I can answer the first one. Are we allowed to leave groups? I think once so there was a deadline for sign up. So the hackathon started at midnight, and by 10:30 p.m., they had to tell me who are they going to be working with and what their team name was. They could change the idea, but they couldn't change the team anymore. So there was a deadline. Now, how will we do this next time? I am open to submissions as teams, and I'm also open to submissions as individuals. And it's all virtually, so you learn how to manage your time. If some kids were like in India, so they were totally in a different time zone. So half of them would be sleeping, and the ones in America would be coding. And then when the American kids were sleeping, the Indian kids would be coding. So you decide when you want to work. Our demographics remain college students, and students is defined as anyone enrolled currently, so that semester, currently in community colleges, four-year colleges, graduate programs, PhDs, whatever. As long as you're a student, we welcome you. We also welcome those who just recently graduated, as recent as May 2019. I haven't considered it, but I used to do robotics, and I used to be a judge for robotics competitions at regional levels for middle schoolers, and they made me feel so dumb. So I think so, why not? I'm hoping to have 500 students express interest, and I'm hoping that 250 of them finish. So let's see. This time, using our website, I will be hosting lots of sessions with industry professionals every week. So we will be doing our own YouTube live sessions about what is a day like at Google, what is a day like as an engineer, etc. So hopefully we will be doing our own marketing and partnering with different universities in the US and abroad, partnering with companies who hire this talent, and then partnering with, I actually don't know, not good at knowing what are the where do college students go to get their news? I don't know, but I need to figure all that out. So Kevin, this is great that you brought it up about high schoolers. I am actually on a mission to try to get computer science as part of curriculum in every elementary school in the United States. So I would want, students to start coding very early on. And yeah, I am open to testing with high schoolers. I just don't think I would have bandwidth in the next semester to do that. So, you guys, I didn't study computer science, first of all. I studied like math and economics and political science. And now I'm like launching websites. So now I'm like in the tech side of the business. So what I can say is there's just going to be technology more and more ingrained in our lives as we move forward. And if you can even take a basic computer science class, like let's say you want to take even Java, I think that would be helpful to your future career, because very likely what you're thinking now in terms of what you think you'll be doing, very likely you won't be doing that 30 years down the line. So give yourselves options and learn different skills and not just one skill. That's my last word.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ms. Ambika Sharma. Thank you for taking your time. We hope to hear more about you in the future and hear about your hackathons, especially hackathons for high schoolers, especially in the Oakland district.
Yeah, thank you for sowing that idea in my mind. I wasn't even thinking.
Too.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes.